Racist Karens on paternity court.
She don't look nothing like me.
Your Honor,
Mr.
black
Brewer.
people can come in any shade or color.
I'm glad you said it, because I say it over and over again in
Right.
this courtroom. Nobody listens to me, except Jerome.
He feels like that is not his child. She was light-skinned with gray eyes because I'm too dark to have a light-skinned baby.
Mr. Bradley here had spent 19 years pondering the age-old question, who's my daddy? Meanwhile, Mr. Tessner, the antagonist in this drama, was 100% sure he was not the father. Hold on to your popcorn, folks, because this decades-old paternity mystery was bound to be juicy.
I was sitting in the car and my mom and my aunt were arguing, and my aunt looks at my mom and tells her, well, why don't you tell him who his father is? And looked at my mom and I'm like, what's going on? And my aunt says, well, your father's James Chestnut. So then I started pushing my mom into letting me go see him. I met him when I was 13 and didn't get to see him again until I was 18.
Who knew an argument between two sisters would lead to devastating news for the plaintiff? Well, that happened when his aunt and mother were riled up and the secret slipped out. On the other hand, the defendant had no clue, none at all, about this supposed son's existence.
We only dated for about a month. I remember pulling over on the side road one time to make out. I cannot even remember having sex with her, and I never knew that she was pregnant or that a baby was born.
Never.
Never.
You were never contacted.
I was never contacted.
Cue the heartbreak, folks, cause Mama Dear put another man's name on the birth certificate, and that irked the son beyond measure, and he let the mother know that she did not know best. Oh dear, emotions were running high.
They ain't no nurse can tell you to put nobody on nobody's birth certificate. It should have been left blank. It should have been left blank.
The birth
Nobody's name was
certificate
put on
Can't
birth
nobody make you
certificate
put no
till
name on a birth
1984.
certificate. No, they shouldn't have been nobody put on that birth certificate until there was a paternity test.
And that makes you angry.
Moving on, the whirlwind of confusion and desperation continues. Mommy let the boyfriend of that time stand up to the role of fatherhood, which he did. But then Mama Karen started noticing the color and features of the baby and said the big old uh-oh.
The court ordered someone on the birth certificate, and at that time I told the courts that I felt like my boyfriend then was his father, because Mr. Bradley was dark-skinned when he was born, and then his facial features started to change, and he looked more and more like Mr. Tessner.
It seemed the baby daddy wasn't a fan of Miss Bradley. He believed the woman was playing with men like a fiddle, and these were some serious accusations, but he stood by them. And she had nothing to say in her defense.
Why is she going after the other man for child support in 1984? And he's a roofer, and roofers only work part of the time. If I'm the dad, why didn't you go after me then? I paid child support on my other kids.
This whole thing has been masterminded.
I think she just changes it to whoever's doing better. That's who she tells him his daddy is. That's what I believe.
Next up, the supposed baby was adamant he wasn't the father they were looking for. And he was tooting the same tune again. The skin color. So much so, he was convinced the other guy was the father. And in doing so, he didn't hesitate to call the mother-son duo a couple of liars. Ouchie, ouch.
He's darker than me, a lot darker. He's got straight hair. Before I went in the military, my hair was long. It was almost like an afro out here like this. His hair's straight as a stick. The other guy is half Cherokee Indian. His mom.
So you feel like this other person.
I believe DNA was done already.
Well, if you thought that was awkward, better prepare yourselves to be awkward some more. Oh yeah, the awkward train left the station when Mr. Tessner claimed he doesn't remember being intimate with the baby mama, but he does remember someone else. Yikes, isn't even enough to cover that one.
I had sex with her sister before I did her, and I remember that. I remember that, and if I can remember that, why can't I remember her?
Miss Bradley, do you remember having sex with him?
I remember having sex.
Did you use protection?
She was pregnant.
Told you this was gonna be juicy. Moving on, it seemed the deadbeat dad comment didn't sit too well with the defendant as he jumped to his defense. Mommy, on the other hand, claimed she stopped the child support of the other dude in question. Hard to believe that.
I didn't tell Mr. Tessner. I didn't bother him. It's because he had gotten some trouble and he left town. I didn't look for him.
That's a lie because the trouble, he was born in 81, right? That trouble didn't happen to April 82.
I was then under the assumption that my boyfriend at the time was my son's father.
Paternity folks, the moment of truth was upon us. And may I say, about time. As the judge says, DNA never lies, and it was time to uncover the hidden truths and unveil the results that will either bring closure to Mr. Bradley or much more anguish.
Mr. Tessner, you are his father.
Now we know.
And I know you said you feel like you missed out on a lot.
I know I did.
But at least everything's on the square now.
How do you feel, Mr. Bradley?
I already knew.
Miss Miller was at the mercy of the paternity court because apparently Mr. Brewer doubted the paternity of one of their twins, and that has rocked their relationship. It's a family feud that has led to an emotional relocation, and now they've turned to the court to resolve the DNA drama.
Your Honor, I love this man, Sean. And since I had the babies, our relationship has been on the rock. So I'm just here to prove that the twins are indeed his babies.
It's not the twins that were in question, it's just Zara. It's not Zane and Zara, it's just Zara.
So you have fraternal twins.
Yes.
And you say only one child is in question.
Yes.
The origins of their relationship were as shaky as Daddy's faith in Zara's paternity. A cruise meetup with a dash of the mix-up of phone numbers and sliding into the DMs. And voila, Mr. Brewer slid into the mommy's bed. But then came the condom controversy, and a drunk conversation led him on a different path.
One night we had sex, and then it just continued there. And the second time we had sex, she actually pulled off the condom.
He is
so
lying.
So I'm thinking like, yeah, so I'm like, it was cool then, but then I was like, well, how many other dudes has she did this with?
And that wasn't the second time. It probably was like the fourth or the fifth time.
Now, hold on, because the baby daddy wasn't done narrating all the shady actions of the baby mama. Yup, there were more, and all this stuff made his doubts simmer. Meanwhile, Miss Miller just called the guy delusional. Not a good defense, I would have to say.
You said she must be sleeping with somebody else.
Yep, and she pops up pregnant. Like a month later or 5 weeks later, I'm pregnant. Came in my mind, and then all of this, her popping off the rubber and all of this stuff, and Jose and the cars.
So, Miss Miller, who is Jose?
I told you, I don't know nobody named Jose.
So according to baby mama, the guy wasn't just delusional, but also insecure, and all because he was older than her. Well, he had a rebuttal for that argument of hers all set and ready to be delivered. So much so, Mr. Brewer did some research of his own on bi-paternity.
When the twins were born, I was there at the hospital, like I've been there during her pregnancy and everything. Zara was born first. She was light bright, damn near white. I'm like, that's not my baby, she look Mexican.
That's when it started being weird.
She don't look nothing like me.
Your Honor,
Mr.
Black
Brewer.
people can come in any shade or color.
I'm glad you said it, because I say it over and over again in this
Right.
courtroom. Nobody listens to me.
Moving on, along with the research, baby daddy brought an exhibit as well. And this special exhibit highlights the toes of his family. Yeah, you heard that right. Now you gotta see for yourselves too what that drama was about.
This is my crusty foot,
Yeah.
but as you can see, the toe curves like a C, and
Okay.
it lays under. Zane's toe is just exactly like mine. And then Zara's toe, as you can see, goes straight up. That's how I feel, Your Honor.
Zara's feet looked exactly like mine, like short and stubby ones. So she looked like me. He looked like him. She looked like me.
By the looks of it, it appears the baby daddy had little to no bonding with the girl twin. Yeah, and according to the baby mama, the kid was picking up on it. Now that's just sad. But he still stood by his doubts.
Oh, well, I know Zane is mine, but I would definitely feel great, more elated if I knew the whole package was mine, both of the twins. And I'll be prepared to do what it takes to be a father to both of them.
And then what if one or both are not?
If they're not mine, I'll just be heartbroken, devastated. Look how pretty those babies are.
Well, Miss Miller finally had enough of the baby daddy's antics and left the house. And she had been raising them all on her own. But that move just made the doubts stronger. However, she was positive the results will shut him up.
I fly out there too. I flew out there twice already for the birthday in March.
He flew out for the birthday just to come to the party, and then he left. He didn't help with
I
nothing.
didn't ask her to leave. She left on her own.
I wasn't getting no help, so I left.
I think the reason why you left is because that baby's not mine.
Well, we
You know
gonna find out today.
The moment of truth has arrived, and the DNA results were in. This roller coaster ride of emotions had come to an end, and Mr. Brewer's doubts hung in the balance. Let's see what fate has in store for this family.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brewer, you are the father.
I told you
Well, I did have my doubts, Judge Lake.
So why do I see tears in your eyes?
Cause it's just emotion.
Miss Sales brought the defendant to court to finally prove to him he fathered her baby. On the other hand, Mr. Jackson believed the baby mama only to be a side chick looking to pin a baby on him. It's a roller coaster of love, betrayal, and a dash of baby drama. The suspense was building, folks.
We were in a relationship, we had our baby, and now because he sits up and talks to his family, now he feels like that is not his child. Since the day my daughter was born, because she was light-skinned with gray eyes, that was not his child because I'm too dark to have a light-skinned baby.
She claims they were the real deal. He calls her a former side chick. That's something. The plaintiff didn't buy that. No surprise there. Miss Sales and Mr. Jackson's dynamic was about as straightforward as a maze. But hold on tight, because this story is just getting started.
You left your ex to come be with me. How was we not in a relationship?
It was more of, she had great sex.
Oh, I put it on him and he could never leave.
Yeah, and it happens like that, It was just.
So you're saying you were only with her for a sexual relationship?
She was my side woman.
Baby mama was all the more eager to take us along for her pregnancy ride. Since the daddy tootin' another toot, their chances of conception were quite slim. But she was persistent, he was her guy. From August to October, baby mama gave a play-by-play of their activities. A spicy mix of hotel rendezvous and some questionable timelines. Here we go.
After they, got me together and got my body together, yeah, believe me, it wasn't that.
Negative, yeah.
Oh, you say that's not true. Okay, I'm gonna come to you in a minute. What happened next, Miss Sales?
So after that, I ended up going home. I, again, knew I was not pregnant. In October, I went to the doctor, and that's when I found out that I was 6 weeks pregnant.
Well, the quality kept the defendant around for 5 years, and that led to an increase in the quantity of unprotected escapades.
I saw Ashley with this guy. Ashley was riding around with him.
Your Honor,
Ashley be outside just so he can sit
Your
there and
Honor,
say,
I also
okay.
seen messages of her going back and forth with the guy, but
What did the messages say?
it was more like, I guess, he already had a baby or something like that. I guess she was trying to come clean about she supposed to be pregnant. It could be a possibility, mine's or his.
It was clear baby daddy was grasping for straws here, and following that plan of action, he came up with a conception calendar of his own. Now, he tried to explain its dynamics, but even Judge Lake had a hard time with this exhibition.
Finally find out Miss Sales is pregnant.
It's around like 7.
There it is, September.
Yes, ma'am.
The last week.
Yes, ma'am.
Outlined in hot pink. Micaiah was born in May. So is it your testimony that you didn't have sex from June when you broke up with Miss Sales, all the way in July,
Yes.
nor in August,
Yes, Your Honor.
nor in September?
Well, that was a total bust. But no worries, cause baby daddy had a witness. His sister was in support of him, and she had some things to share. And pretty soon, the baby mama interjected and was running the show, it seemed.
I just told him to take a DNA test, which he said he tried to take one.
How do you fake a fallout?
She started crying outside the
broke
building
down
because she
crying.
didn't want to take
Was
the
you
DNA
standing
test.
there? Were you
No, he
crying?
told me.
I don't never cry for one. I'm not an emotional
do.
person at all.
So these guys did go for the test once, but came back empty-handed. It seemed Mr. Jackson was a sensitive fella, but the sarcastic DNA queen showed him what really went down that day.
You're such a nice, sweet, humble young man.
Yes, Your Honor.
You just decided I don't want to hurt this young woman's feelings, and I'd rather just not take the DNA test and go back home to Miss Sales to only have sex with her and continue to devalue her
No, yeah,
for
it
another
was-
2 years.
The truth is a double-edged sword, and it was about to cut through the drama like a knife through butter. This was one twisted case where a baby was judged for pretty much everything that's possible. Let's see who gets validated through these results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jackson, you are the father.
Now I know who my baby daddy is.
Miss Sales, you don't have to do that. I don't run no circus, and I don't need no clowns.
I understand.
We're talking about a baby. She should know who you are. She needs the daddy that is going to be protecting her.
Now, this courtroom showdown featured a grandmother determined to prove that her late son wasn't the father of baby Thomas. Miss Reinhardt accuses Miss Crow of using her son for a financial joyride, and now she's here to put the brakes on that claim.
It is more than just the money. I would like help with my son, yes, of course, but my son cannot grow up and meet his father. So he deserves that right to know who his father is and to know who his family is.
Now picture this, a chance meeting at a skate park, sparks flying, and love blossoming faster than you can say love at first sight. Boy, was that quick! And the two characters in their story soon became three. Sounds too good to be true, right?
My son and I had a very tight relationship, and Jay would tell me everything when nobody else was around. I knew my son inside and out. As a mother, as a grandmother, having 4 babies of my own, my gut tells me this is not my grandson. I do not see my son in that.
Now, folks, we enter the treacherous territory of doubts and reservations surrounding the pregnancy. It seemed the baby daddy had some serious issues, and because of those issues, the grandma believed mommy was taking advantage of him. Furthermore, she brought in picture evidence to back up her claim that the baby does not favor her. Oh, Karen!
I've got a baby picture, and if I take that baby picture, I could put it up against my daughter. I could even put it up against my 18-year-old granddaughter. I could put it up against Jay's brother. I could put it up against Jay's baby picture, and we all look like quadruplets.
By the looks of it, Miss Reinhardt came to win, so she wasn't backing down. Moreover, she presented another family history that this baby in question lacked as well. Evidence coming up left and right. Hard to keep up with all these, right?
At the time we were living together, it was March 2015. I have decided to no longer go any further in the relationship because I have 2 other kids. He comes home one night and he's drunk. He left the door wide open. We don't live in the best neighborhood.
So apparently, these guys went separate ways after a while. Now, according to the baby mama, she had no way to contact Mr. Turner. Time passed, and one day she came across the devastating news of his passing on Facebook. However, Grandma did not agree with that version.
I see a mutual friend of ours post, "Rest in peace, Jay," with his picture. And I contacted this person like, what's going on? And they tell me, so I want to make sure it's true. I call the coroner's office. Is it true you have J.C. Turner? Yes, it is true. Do you know where any of his family's at? Because he don't have family out here like that.
I told her he passed away.
The weight of despair and anguish. The courtroom was brimming with it. The plaintiff had all the answers except for the most crucial one. Why go for the DNA test now? Furthermore, Ms. Crow didn't even attend the memorial of her supposed baby daddy. Ooh, that does not look good.
You not attend somebody's memorial when they're given a memorial of their death because your daughter has school the next day and you can't get a babysitter?
No, that was what you guys did. I went to the skate park where I met him. You can have all the proof you want to make yourself feel better because I know what I did.
You were not there.
Okay.
The emotions were running high and were all over the courtroom. The baby mama and grandma were at severe odds with each other. It was time to see whether those could be mended by the results or not. Here goes nothing.
The percentage of relatedness is 99.6% you are related. That is your grandchild.